Guys, Lin versus Moon. It doesn't really get any better than this here to get our day started. And Orc versus Night Elf coming up. And I'm going to be joined yet again by the fantastic Carson. How are you doing?
I am great, and I'm so excited for this match. Oh my god, both these players 2-0ing Infi yesterday. Like, you know, if you're going to 2-0 someone in the world, probably most proud to be Infi. What do you think about their performance yesterday?
Yeah, they played amazing, both of them. But like Neo said, one of them has to lose now. I mean, they could have a draw technically, but then they'd have to replay that game. And yeah, Orc against Night Elf. I'm going to rely on your expertise a lot here in this one. We see Moon opening with a fairly standard keeper first, and on the other side, Blade Master, as you will always see there from Lin. Do you feel like Last Refuge favorizes any of them here, or is it one of the more even maps, and that's why we're seeing it first?
I think it's a pretty balanced map. Of the three that we have in this best of three, we have Last Refuge, Concealed Hill, Northern Isles. I think those are the three most balanced. It's kind of a cool matchup that in best of threes, having 2 vetoes each per player, you can both veto the maps that are not really favoring you, and then you end up with this really nice balanced map pool, and Last Refuge is definitely one of the more balanced ones of the three.
It seems like across multiple matchups, we see it maybe the most out of any map. We see it quite a bit. Definitely been in there a while. Like, obviously, it's not a perfect map by all means. Those creeps sometimes, you know, they grew a little too easily, it feels like. But at this level that those guys are playing, let's see if the keeper, he gets the steal. Oh my god, that was so unfortunate for Lin. That creep must have had, like, I don't know, very few hit points left after the hit from the Grunt and the Blade Master. So a very good start now for Moon, getting level 2 right off the bat.
Yeah, that is incredible for Moon. Now he doesn't have to risk anything to try to get level 2 off another creep. He can go into the base. He can probably even cancel the second burrow if he wanted to, but the Blade Master is on his tail, so he's got to be a little bit careful. But now Lin, he's got to keep that Grunt back. He's got to keep the Blade on the Keeper of the Grove, and there's an expansion coming up. As soon as Moon pressures Lin off of his side of the map, he just immediately puts up that expansion. This is so far beautifully done by Moon.
Yeah, do you think that was the plan all along, or was that an adaptation to the way things went down?
I think regardless, Moon could have ran across the map and canceled that second burrow, so Lin has to respect that. So I think the plan was to get Lin close to his base and put up that expansion. Oh, the plan for Lin was to not lose this Grunt, though. And one more Entangle will probably secure that kill. The question is, will Lin be able to deny it?
Let's see, he's getting back in position with the Blade Master. He's going to try and damage the Keeper first, getting in position to try and get the deny, and he gets it. Very nicely done here, preventing further experience from being gained on the Keeper of the Grove. Tech, always going to be a little bit faster here, I guess, with the way things went down, and Moon already going into hunts. Ooh, getting blocked by a sheep here, that's never fun.
Yeah, the critter. A little bit unfortunate. Ultravision coming out. First Huntresses on the way. A very early expansion is now going to be scouted once that illusion gets to the Tree of Life. And Lin is in for a rude awakening, and he can't really cancel it at this point. Already lost that Grunt. Doesn't even have a Staff of Teleportation yet. Looks like he's going up there to try to do something about it. Pulls the creeps onto the Tree of Life. Does this work? I've never seen someone do this. They're actually damaging the Tree of Life. Does he have enough DPS? He's going to pull the Murloc camp as well. Can Lin do this? This would be incredible.
It would be insane if he managed to pull this off, but Moon kind of saw this coming. He saw the illusion headed up there, so he moved back into with his army. But now he was fighting the Murlocs to prevent them from attacking that tree, and Lin, can he get the snipe on this Entangle on the Blade Master? He's the only damage dealer, the real actual damage dealer that's up there, and he's actually going to move back. He was afraid to die for a second. He's going to re-engage. Oh my god, that tree is so close to dying. There is no Wisp nearby, and he forces the cancel. Wow, I did not think that was going to be possible at all. And you know, we talked about Last Refuge, and I said one of the flaws is the scripts are growing a little too easily sometimes. I think you're getting a prime example of what is up with that. But yeah, that was Lin using the illusion to its full effect here, and one of the best items on this map just because of that.
Yeah, that was a perfect use of that Wand of Illusion, and that's why we saw Lin go for those priests first to grab that item. He went for both of them and got both consumables. So not too much luck on his side. He got both priests and he canceled that expansion. Even if the Blade died getting that Tree of Life cancel, would have still totally been worth it for Lin. All he wants to do is keep this Night Elf, keep Moon on one base economy as long as possible. Now the Shadow Hunter is going to be on the way. Pretty soon it's just going to be popping now. The Shamans are going to be on the way out. He actually pulls the Mercenary camp with that last charge of Wand of Illusion. So far he's gotten so much value from this item, Todd.
Yeah, that must be the best value I've ever seen out of Wand of Illusion here, really. Actually, well, he sent that into the red, so maybe now he can send that towards the main base to see exactly like where the tech is at, what buildings he sees starting, if any. But yeah, with Shadowhunter being out now, he goes Healing Wave first. So usually against Night Elf, you'd always get Serpent Ward. It's the question of whether you go Healing Wave or Hex. You know, in a very aggressive game, sometimes you're going to want to open up Hex. But yeah, here I expect him to go Serpent Ward second, and usually to max that a lot of the time, right?
Yeah, and you would be able to creep a lot faster with wards, but I guess because the Blade Master had already started off that mercenary camp, then he just sort of went for heal wave first. But yeah, once he's on level 5 with those level 3 Serpent Wards, the Huntresses are no longer going to be viable if Moon does stay on this Archer Huntress army, and the expansion is exposed again. Where's the Keeper? Nowhere near to go for an entangle, but the 4 Huntresses are going to fend off that Blade Master. Keeper going down, has a single entangle, but that Shadow Priest is so good for Lin now. He can save all of his grunts.
Yeah, the Blade Master went to the other side of the map without a Staff of Teleportation. I think that's because he has so much mana saved up. Typically, the best orcs in the world, the lanes, Focus, and Flies, they don't really waste any mana ever. If they use a Windwalk, they get the max value out of it. And this is being shown here yet again with that Blade Master being a little bit pesky on the other side of the map. Moon forced to leave units at his expo as to prevent a cancel from happening there.
Yeah, this is really good from Lin so far, and if he does in the future get that Staff of Teleportation, then he can threaten the Gold Mine cancels on the Tree of Life. And if the Shadow Hunter just camps in the back of Lin's base, he cancels the Gold Mine over and over again. Lin's happy with that, and as soon as Moon goes back to defend this Gold Mine from being canceled, he's just going to go creep the Shadow Hunter to level 3, but we see Moon very nicely splitting off those 3 Huntresses, and he's doing 2 things at the same time. He's stopping the Blade Master from denying that Gold Mine from entangling, and he's stopping the Shadow Hunter from creeping.
That Robe of Magi, a very big item to have on a Shadow Hunter, because you get an extra mana to work with. You see a 420 mana pull here on this bad boy. And now he's looking to pull the Merchants very, very close to level 3, actually, which is one of the biggest power spikes in this matchup, I feel, is when you finally hit that Shadow Hunter level 3.
Yeah, for sure. And then with that, Lin will be able to hit a timing on Moon's expansion. The question is, how prepared will Moon be by the time the Shadow Hunter gets level 3? Because it's inevitable at this point. There's 3 Serpent Wards down, soon to be a 4th. You can't really stop this creep. There's the level 3. How prepared is Moon? 41 supply. He's getting the range upgrade for the archers, +1 attack. He's getting +2 now, actually, waiting in the wings. So will Moon be prepared for this level 3 Shadow Hunter timing against this expansion that hasn't mined yet?
Where's this Magi going?
Yeah, what's up with the creeps this game?
Yeah. Guess we'll get no item in this game. We have 4 grunts now. This Berserker is really nice. Oh my god, he gets a greater mana. The best item he could have hoped for here. He can combo that with dropping the Circlet or the Robe of Magi and gain extra mana back once he will have empty mana pool. Moon is gonna need some serious Wisp detonations here to have a chance to hold this attack that's coming.
Yeah, and he's got mercenary access now, and he has his 60 supply Moonwell, so he can break above, but he doesn't have much gold to get the Ogre Mauler or anything yet. I think he just picked up a Troll Berserker. Yeah, he did. But is that enough? Lin is definitely ready for the fight. He even got a heal scroll from Moon's shop earlier. He stole it away from him. So yeah, Lin is definitely very well prepared. He could even pull peons, but we see in the bottom right, instead he's going for a counter expansion with a tower in the front in case there's any treants to harass that expansion attempt.
All right. It engages into Moon. 2 of the Serpent Wards are in range here to shoot those units down. But yeah, those grunts pretty tanky here. At the front, Shadow Hunter is going to run out of mana very quickly, though, if he keeps on spamming the Serpent Wards like this. I'm surprised he didn't put the Serpent Wards in range of the expansion. Maybe he's really a bit worried to get too close, because then Wisps start coming in. And if they land those big detonations, that can be the best chance for Moon to actually hold. He's trying to snipe the tree.
Yeah, doesn't really have enough. Yeah, there's so much to repair, and like you pointed out correctly, the Wisp detonates are so prepared. We see as soon as Lin extends in for a Huntress, the Wisps are being pulled, but the Shamans are being split, and these Wisps are detonated on at least the Shadow Hunter, who's going to have to use that Potion of Greater Mana if he wants to stay in this fight. Lightning Shield on the Blade Master. He doesn't have an invuln. Entangle, is he going to go down? The heal scroll's popped. The Blade Master might fall heal wave at the last second, and Lin saves his Blade Master on the nick of time, and now he's about to win this fight, it looks like. And Archer Purge out of position. Another Huntress goes down. Level 4 on the Shadow Hunter just from this timing. What a fight so far from Lin, but it seems like the tables may be slightly turning in Moon's favor.
Yeah, I think he's out of mana on all of the Shamans here, so Trance and Entangle can be really dangerous, but so is the Keeper. He's kind of running low on mana right now. Alchemist needs to be careful. You can't be losing that. There is no Staff of Preservation here just yet. Lin speed scrolling in. He's smelling blood in the water here. He sees this army of only archers. He's got healthy grunts getting on top of everything now. He's trying to close this game out. Keeper almost surrounded. Town Portal might be forced in a second. Maybe he can uproot the Ancient of War to try and retreat. But Moon is in big trouble here against this push.
Yeah, there's not a heal wave for the Shadow Hunter currently, so the Blade Master is as damaged as he will be for the remainder of the fight. Level 3 pop could maybe go for Mirror Image to save him from a potential Entangle kill, but there's just so many units, and the expansion is about to be mining for Lin. It's about 90% done, but maybe Lin has to go back. He's done definitely enough damage, and the economy is going to be equal, and the hero levels are looking beautiful. 4.5 on that Shadow Hunter.
Yeah. Against Keeper 3.5 and Alchemist 2.5. Like if he gets level 5 and then, as you said, gets Serpent Wards level 3 and attacks, it's going to be so hard for Moon to hold on. You're supposed to have a supply lead here if you're the Night Elf. Like you're massing those Huntresses, those Archers, but Lin has been so effective the entire game. A matchup which not very long ago we saw the Orcs really struggling with, the Death Touch on that. And then Fly kind of started showing the way and doing really well against Elf. And now Lin, in this game right now, is looking very convincing so far.
Yeah, this has pretty much been a perfect game from Lin. From that initial creep route, he got that last hit stolen. Maybe you could argue that was a mistake, but I think that was just beautiful, really, from Moon, timing-wise. And then he gets the illusions, cancels the expansion, perfect creep route on the Shadow Hunter into a perfect timing with some lucky drops as well. And the follow-up is beautiful, too. He's going to get level 5 Shadow Hunter, his expansion's mining, getting a bestiary once it is mining. And like you pointed out, even supply. And Lin is definitely ready to fight again. He just needs a little bit more mana on his Shadow Hunter. Moon is probably going to break upkeep as soon as he can, and he's getting a lot of upgrades. Second Ancient of War, Huntresses, first armor upgrade on those Huntresses. So if Moon has a couple more minutes, maybe there's a position he can win a fight. But the Shadow Hunter, man, is about to creep the red.
Yeah, one of the wind picked up, but that can easily be purged and disabled here in the fight. But yeah, so much at stake here between both of these guys. Warsong Battle Drums. But I thought he was about to add a Kodo maybe, but he's going for a Raider, so I guess maybe he can skip that entirely. But yeah, rank 1 against rank 3 in the lifetime earnings on Warcraft 3. Taking on one another in a group where they're both 2-0 right now. That first place is so important. You make it straight to the semifinals if you take that first place. And it could be decided right there. Like obviously they will have to win more matches. But whoever wins here will be 3-0 in this very strong group. And they've already played Infi too.
Yeah, this is pretty much guaranteeing the first seed of this group and guaranteeing a slot in the semifinals if you can win here. This is a very, very important match because, like you said, yeah, the biggest roadblocks already out of their way if they're able to defeat each other here. Infi. They've already defeated Infi, and now they're going to defeat the other strong. But the Sappers to the expansion, I think that was a 2-Sapper investment even, and the expansion maybe not going to fall, but the Huntress Glaive attack can deal with the peons they're trying to repair. Moon, is this your way back into the game? Is he going to get the kill? He can just Town Portal out after, but the repair has been pretty good. A couple of Huntresses are going to fall, but Moon's actually going to get the expansion. He does get it perfectly calculated. What a beautiful surgical strike from Moon there.
Deja vu from Anaheim, where Moon kept on playing this style here with the Keeper. And I said, oh, these Archers! Oh no, that's level 5 Shadow about to be reached here. He can just leave the Grunt here. Ooh, okay, so Lightning Shield expires before that snipe can take place. And now Lin feels like he has to counterattack. Great double Ancient of War at the expansion right in front of that. Obviously, he went for Nature's Blessing a while back, so these Ancient of Wars are going to have 7 armor. But behind this Moon, I think he was trying to re-attack the Expo to get a cancel because he knows he was going to restart, but instead now he's headed towards the main base. Oh my god, and he has 2 Archers that he left down there to snipe the expansion. He's living in the future. He anticipated perfectly what was going to happen here. These Archers are going to get the cancel.
This is so sick for Moon. There are 2 Raiders for Lin, so a base trade will be in his favor, but not if he loses that stronghold. Moon is playing out of his mind in this late mid-game here. But Lin, will he be able to get back home? No Town Portal for Lin, so this might be an expansion for a main base trade. It certainly will be. Pillage is being upgraded. Is Lin just going for the trade? Here's the Shadow Hunter back with the Serpent Wards, but he's going to get the main base. Moon, you madman.
It's so hard to repair against Moon Glaives. The bouncing attack from the Huntresses keeps hitting all of the peons that are repairing. Moon snipes both bases of Lin, and all of a sudden, he's still mining inside of his main base. He's a little bit ahead in supply, and he knows that Lin might be desperate and come to attack into him here in a second. And he's fighting only a fraction of the army of Lin right now.
This could be terrible for Lin if he gets these units caught out. The Shadow Hunter is level 5, has a potion of mana, and has that Robe of the Magi still. So there's a world in which Lin can win this fight and win the game, but he's got the time against him. Moon is mining, Lin is not. I don't even think he's rebuilding his Great Hall. I think this is all in for Lin. This is it.
Yeah, he may not have had the gold here. He's moving in there, gets right on top of this army. Moon might need to pull back here for a second, get behind his buildings so that they can help out. He's sending in the Wisps. If he can take away all of the mana pool on this Shadow Hunter and the Shamans, then Entangle might be able to wear down the Orc player who's still moving in furiously. This is his timing. He has to win this game right here and right now, or he's gonna drop that first map here.
Oh, the Alchemist, though, Potion and Invuln already invested. He wasn't close enough to the Moonwells, and now Lin is just storming forward. All the Wisps have been detonated. The Lightning Shield is really good. I don't think Moon has enough to hold. He made it so close after such a bad early game, but it's just all Lin now. He's going to kill every remaining unit. He's going to get the main base. Is there another play for Moon? No, there is not, and that's 1-0 for Lin.
Moon made it so close after it felt like he was so far behind. That was like the one way he gave himself a chance to come back, but I think Lin identified the urgency of things here and immediately went for a timing inside of Moon's base, knowing that he had to win the game right here and right now.
Yeah, what a intense game. Perfectly played from Lin, and then Moon always finding a way back into games. I think that's really his best characteristic as a player. He always finds a way to come back when he's behind, and it's no different in that game. But Lin also such beautiful play, knowing that Moon is very weak, just has a couple of Huntresses, knows he just forced him to Town Portal, so he just says, I'm gonna all into your base, and you have to defend because you're not on my side of the map, and that's just so nice. What a high-level game there.
Yeah, I feel like if you're Lin, like you're happy about the win, but you're definitely like taken aback almost to like what Moon just did and thinking, okay, well that was like too close for comfort after the initial start, which as you said was as close to perfect as it gets. Like, you know, as a game, like the correct push that he went for, obviously the Greater Mana helped a ton and he had some nice drops, but very nicely done. That cancel on the tree too, that was so huge.
Yes. Yeah, that illusion is very, very good on Last Refuge. You know, a lot of people would say Sentry Wards is probably the best, but having those illusions, if you know how to use them,
yeah.
Lin, of course, did, canceling that expansion and then using it to pull that mercenary camp. If you use them in the proper way, then they're just such a beautiful drop. Okay, so map 2 is going to be Concealed Hill. This is a pretty known to be a very long, sort of drawn-out style map in this matchup. We've seen a lot of half an hour, 40-minute Orc against Night Elves on this map. What do you think we're going to see on Concealed Hill?
I think maybe more of the same. Like I expect a Keeper and Moon to play a similar style. The thing is, any spot where you want to put down your Tree of Life is really, really well known. And we saw last game, like that tree was on what, like 60% when Lin started showing interest towards cancelling it. It was really though only because of the health of the Crypts that he was able to get it. On Concealed Hill that shouldn't happen, but he can definitely get on top of it earlier with this Blade Master, maybe grunt and try and get a cancel on that. There's also a chance Moon does something like the Protector attack, the Ancient Protector that we see a lot of the time on this map, which now has become very well known. Like everybody knows the timing, when to look for it, you know, and get the cancel on that to make sure you don't take any damage early on.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, and the fact that Moon didn't show that in the first game, it may be some sort of a mind game. He says, oh, you know, you didn't even have to scout for it if you did, Lin, because I never put the Ancient Protector up. He didn't even have many aggressive Wisps. So maybe if he does it in Game 2 or even in Game 3, if it goes that long, it may come as a surprise to Lin if Moon saves it for the later part of this series. That could be a good play, and there is a couple more spots on Concealed Hill for that hidden Ancient Protector than there is on Last Refuge, especially since Lin didn't creep that green camp, which is typically where you'll put it up as a Night Elf.
Yeah, actually, there's a couple spots, but it's also like you have to put it kind of close. So it just kind of narrows it down for the Orc if you look for it at the right time. But yeah, obviously there's always a lot happening. Like you need to be on the other side of the map. That's the whole mind game, you know, to look for that tree, to get the cancel on it. And if you're just sitting near your base looking for that AP, then it might not just go up and then you fall behind because the Tree of Life completes on the other side. So lots of scouting required from both sides, in particular Lin, to make sure he knows exactly what's happening and he counters Moon perfectly as he did last game.
For sure, and there'll be a lot of options for Moon on the table that Lin has to be ready for. And yeah, we'll have to wait and see if Moon changes it up. Will Lin change it up? You know, or definitely the reactionary race in this matchup. So I think the cards are on the table for Moon to change it up. And I think we're going to jump into the game pretty quickly here on Concealed Hill for Game 2. Here's the players. Look at them. The legends.
In the
Absolutely.
flesh.
Yeah. They both look very serious, Todd. Very, very serious. As they should be. I would be terrified to be playing either of them.
Well, there's a cheeky 55 grand on the line, so
yeah.
I'd be pretty serious as well, yeah, if I was participating in this.
All right, here we go. Game 2 on Concealed Hill. Moon against Lin. Will Moon tie it up? Or is Lin going to get a second 2-0 against one of the favorites in the entire tournament?
Yeah, that would be very big here for Lin to win that again. Trying to play for that first place finish in this very strong group. And Lin has had a bit of an off year last year, right? Like he was not performing as well as usually would expect him to. Like there's always been Lin flying focus at the top of the orc game in Asia, but it felt like last year Lin was struggling a lot more than usual, and it was more the other orcs having really strong results and Kata showing the way for the first time in a very long time.
Yeah, for sure. I think it was Fly really picking it up against Night Elf. Recently, of course, too, but last year as well. And then Lin, you know, he was very strong when the sort of meta shifted to this Grunt Shaman, if you remember, against Human. When Lin figured out that double Kodo style against Human, that's really when he was in his prime of this current patch. But then, yeah, he fell off a little bit, but he seems to be getting his form back, as does, you know, Moon's always a consistent legend and a consistent, really, really top competitor, so...
Yeah, I wonder actually, all of these guys seem pretty solid against Undead actually. I'd like to see them against Undead quite a bit, and our fourth match today is going to be Focus against Hero. I think that's going to be sick.
That's going to be a good match, yeah.
And yeah, speaking of Orc against Night Elf, our second match actually on the mainstream is also going to be that matchup with Fly versus Lorlight. It seems like every round that we have, and just look at the matches, I'm like, yeah, these are all dream matches in this tournament.
Yeah, somehow we've ended up with just, like I said even yesterday, Infi versus Moon, what more could you hope for? Lin versus Moon, for me as an Orc player, this is like a dream matchup to watch. And then Loliot against Fly is probably, as Neil pointed out in the pregame, the highest level Orc against Night Elf you can find, because Fly is just such a beast in this matchup. And then Loliot, probably the best Night Elf in the world right now, overtaking Moon.
Yeah, he was for some time, but so far in this tournament, Moon is reminding us how great he is with a 2-0 score, whereas Loliot is 0-2. I never would have expected that. All right, let's look at this game. Circlet, Klaus already on that Blade Master, looking pretty good, gets Sentry Words. As much as on Last Refuge, the Wand of Illusion was amazing. I think on this map, Sentry Words is really good, but you need to make sure you don't put it down in front of the opponent's hero, or units, because then they'll know where it is and he can just dust and get rid of these. So Lin kind of has to save this for a while and then use it later down the line in an ideal position. Damn, that shop is under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, that shop's definitely not in the ideal position, and the Treants are going to pressure that, even forcing to pull 2 peons off his Lin, but he does have an extra peon that was scouting. We see it there at the bottom, being attacked by the Archer, but just clearing for no expansion. That 11 supply Great Hall is coming in handy. Yeah, the wards are very good on this map as well, because on Concealed Hill there's really only 2 major lanes. You can walk through the middle, but you always have to go to these 2 lanes on the left and right side. So one Watcher ward can cover essentially half the map if you're in Lin's shoes here. But the Treants are going to get another Grunt. Is Lin going to lose another Grunt early this game?
It looks like he might here. Keeper doing enough damage. Is there a deny? Yes, of course there is. It's Lin! Of course there would be a deny. That Blade Master hits really hard already with the Circlet and Cross. And from there, like we see Moon with no attempt whatsoever to go for any kind of Ancient Protector pressure. Like, I mean, Lin was near his base, he was fully ready. So if somebody's too ready for something, just don't go for it. Go for something else. That's usually the way to counter that.
Yeah, this
He's getting Strength of the Wild.
Yeah, I was just going to say, this is double Lords. Is this Mass Dryads? Probably going to see a Demon Hunter second. He's getting Ancient of Wonders too, which makes me think Mountain Giants, of course, but, you know, knowing Moon, he does enjoy his Dryads. So here's the curveball we were talking a little bit about. This is what he's throwing Lin's way.
It's so early, it feels like, to get that +1. It's like...
Yeah.
Before it will really any affect any of these units that is going to make that this is going to benefit. Very interesting here. But yeah, Shadow Hunter seconds is pretty much the only choice nowadays, it feels like, with how good it is. We rarely see a Town Chieftain second against Night Elf anymore. If you're sure that the opponent's going to go Talents, maybe, but even then, you can make Shadow Hunter work with Serpent Ward. Demon Hunter second here, what do you make of this for Moon?
Yeah, really good for that mana burn, but on Concealed Hill, you know, the Demon Hunter second, you always need to get at level 3 as early as you can. But there's not a lot to creep. You got to move that Ancient of War up to probably the Mercenary camp. Nice last hit, and he gets the Slippers. The Blade is such a beast, and he's going to need it when these Dryads start pumping away.
Plus 10 damage already on that guy. You know what I really like about Orcs is that they finally started using Critical Strike, or maxing out Critical Strike more and more. They've realized that you don't always need to go Windwalk necessarily. So occasionally, you know, if, in a game like this, if you get Blade level 3 and you know there is like a lot of fighting about to happen, you'll just go Critical Strike level 2. On level 5, we see so much Critical Strike level 3 as well. And it can be deadly with all that extra damage from the crits.
Yeah, for sure. And people's scouting is so good nowadays. Lin, especially, his scouting is amazing. You don't always need that Windwalk if your opponent's doing something that's very telegraphed, but this game, I'm sure Lin wishes he scouted better because he's in for a rude awakening when he sees these Dryads coming out. I don't think Lin has any idea quite yet.
Yeah. He scouted everything near his base. He scouted everything at the bottom forward tree. The one place he didn't scout was Moon's main base. He's headed there now with the Blades. So he wants to see what's going on in there, and then he's going to be able to staff back home to help out his army if need be. So yeah, he sees the double lore, he sees the tier 2, and yeah, he saw that there was an upgrade happening in the Huntress Hall, which has actually, there's already 1-1 for Dryads. Yeah. There's barely any Dryads out, there's no Dryads out on the field yet. The first 2 are about to come out, and they're already going to enter the field with 1-1 upgrades.
Yeah, that's so sick from Moon. Yeah, his first 2 Dryads pop as soon as that armor upgrade pops. So he's got 1-1 Dryads, and he's gonna have a bunch of Dryads getting abolished magic. I guess this is how you play Mass Dryads, everyone. You get 1-1 before your tier 2, and then you get abolished after that second Dryad. The shot may be gonna fall. Preservation has already been purchased on that Demon Hunter, but level 3 given. Oh my god, is that an Ancient of War blocking the way? Is this gonna be a dead Blade Master? He's got a Staff of Teleportation out, but if he gets entangled, he will not be able to escape. Cancels the Ancient of War, and Lin is going to make it out just in the nick of time. No Dust of Appearance, of course, because the Ancient Wonders died earlier.
Yeah, very smart play from Lin to make sure that the gate was open and he could get out. If Moon had reclosed that, he might have been able to force a staff out, but even then it wouldn't be worth it, I guess. I guess if he dusted and attacked the Blade, but then the Blade probably could kill whatever building was in there. But yeah, now trying to get on top of one of these grunts. Lin reacting a little bit late. I think he might not have realized that this fight was taking place. And he did go Windwalk level 2, which is perfectly understandable with everything that's been happening. Steals the tome. This is mine. The sacred text, do not get left behind when the best orc is playing.
Yeah, the Blade Master is getting more and more stacked drives on the way. Ancient of Wonder is being rebuilt. The question is, what's Moon's follow-up? Because Lin knows he just needs to adapt to the strategy. We see him getting a War Mill, getting another Burrow. He's going to go into Raiders as well. But the question is, what is Moon's next plan? Is he going to get an expansion? Is he going to go tier 3? Or is he just going to pressure for the rest of the game? Because at the moment, he's not creeping, he's not fighting, he's not doing much of anything. But here comes the aggression with the Dryads.
It feels like... is it that durable a style to go for a lot of Dryads like this? Don't you think that if you're the Orc, you're just gonna wanna like hold on until you get 50 supply and then you have a much better shot at facing this?
Yeah, I think so, especially if Lin's able to get level 3 Shadow Hunter before this Demon Hunter. As I spoke about earlier, you need to get level 3 on this Demon Hunter, but still level 1. So I think if Lin holds on, gets level 3 Shadow Hunter, gets a couple of Raiders out, and Moon hasn't transitioned into maybe tier 3 Mountain Giants would be the most standard transition. This is definitely a one fight for Lin.
Forces are under attack.
All right, let's see. Keeping tabs on that Elf army. Moon really kind of roaming right outside the base of Lin here. He's waiting for him to move out so he can engage. He's sharking around Carson.
Yeah, he's so good at that too. He's always good at finding openings. And Lin's not giving him any currently, but maybe he's going to give away his expansion. Nice Dust of Appearance going to reveal that Blade Master. Mana Burn, Entangle, putting a little bit of damage, but here comes the army of Lin to defend what's rightfully his, this expansion camp. A Demolisher. That's a little bit wacky, but I respect it, Lin. I think that's a good choice.
Yeah, against this many Dryads, they don't do a lot of damage to Demolishers either, whereas the other way around is perfectly true.
Yeah.
Demolishers can wreck Dryads. Let's see, he's just gonna disengage. He finds Talisman of Evasion, so if Immolation maybe. I always think that is like so silly, like nobody would ever go Immolation. Maybe one day if it gets buffed.
It would, yeah, it might be pretty good with the Dryads because you got these heroes in the front line. It might be good with Talons, actually, too, if you have one of those abilities, because you're so dependent on your hero's DPS with something like Talons. And maybe Immolation could find its way into the meta. Mirror Image has in this matchup, but you know, Immolation, not really too common. I'm sure you've lost quite a few peasants to Immolation recently, though.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it happens sometimes. You know, like... You're not, I feel like you're not really supposed to wall off against Elf anymore, and then like, so you stop doing it, and then once in a while you get a Demon Hunter with Immolation in your peasants, you're like, okay, well, I still gonna wall off maybe, like I'm not sure about this one. But yeah, like, I like that Moon shocked around for as long as he could, and then when he realized, he was like, okay, well, there's enough army here from Lin at this point, I just have to go back and start critting myself. Like, the decision making, it doesn't always appear very clear when you watch those games, but if you realize everything that's happening, like you can understand how these guys are like so great and so smart with the way they play.
Yeah, and just realizing the amount of information that they have. I mean, they have very good scouting, but they can't see the entire map like us, and just the fact that all their decisions are so perfect, despite having limited information at any given time. It's so impressive. Red Camp's going to be traded. Moon getting the Medallion of Courage, which is going to be great on that Demon Hunter, but level 3 is, of course, going to be even better. The question is, what's Lin going to get? Scourge Bone Chime is probably the best here, but again, any of the auras is going to be great. The True Shot's going to be great for the Demolisher as well, if he gets that.
Do you think he's going to keep the Medallion? For me, that would be a sell.
I think he'll keep it on the Demon Hunter, maybe, or even the Keeper would be good on.
Yeah, because he's strength and intel.
Yeah.
Whereas Demon is an agility hero, so you like gaining a little bit of extra mana and hit points can be nice. But look, Moon already broke upkeep. I'm a little bit surprised by this. I thought he would pay a visit to the shop first because he definitely has to sell that Talisman of Evasion, in my opinion. And if you sell after you've broken upkeep, then you get taxed a whole bunch.
Yeah.
And nobody wants that.
Yeah, not worth selling anymore. Maybe, yeah, maybe would have been. I definitely think there's a debate to be had whether that item's worth keeping, and it does give you a lot of gold. Okay, here comes the timing. Peons are being pulled. Will there be towers? And will Moon defend? It looks like he's going to defend. Moon, of course, sometimes just chooses to hit and run. Okay, this is some 2005 Dayfly stuff going on here. Look at this.
He's got true shots, by the way.
Yeah, this is
range
sick.
Unit's gonna do a lot of damage here. First Moonwell's gonna go down instantly. That might supply block Moon, actually. 63 out of 60 now. He cannot make any more units for a while. Demon Hunter being targeted at the front. Is there one more ensnare? Yes, it's on time. He cannot staff. Demon Hunter might go down, and it goes down before Moon has time to use Staff of Preservation. The worst way to start this fight here. First Giants is out on the field. Second one as well, but Tier 3 is not finished yet. So those Giants, they're not gonna have upgrades yet. Dryad's still going strong, but Towers are about to finish, Carson.
Oh my god, we're talking about how good their map awareness is, and this timing was perfect. The Mountain Giants pop out, but not before the Demon Hunter has fallen. If there was a taunt, if there was these front lines before, maybe Moon could hold, but the towers are getting up, the Demolisher's putting in work, paired with the Ensnare, there's still a supply advantage for Moon. However, if Moon can hold on, if he can pick off some of these units, it'd be great, but the 3 towers are completed. 1, 2, 3, they're up, and there's still peons, as well as a shop. Can Moon hold this?
And make no mistake about it, this is not just a timing where it was like, oh, I'm in a good position, I'm gonna tower rush. No, this is an anti-Mountain Giant timing here by Lin. We're on Conceal Hill, Mountain Giants are very popular. He saw a bunch of Dryads, he saw that there was lords, he's like, okay, well, I know where this is going. Goes for what looked like a very good timing, but right now Moon is putting in work. Demon Hunter being targeted again, there is no ensnare, so he's gonna be able to staff this time. Survives, Mountain Giant at the front. Being ensnared and taking a lot of damage, Blade Master has to use the invuln. Shadowhunter with a perma clarity being activated on it with that shot perfectly placed behind the towers, and Serpent Ward still helping a ton. There is one single Demolisher left though. Maybe you should send that to the left and tuck it in, or tuck it behind those towers so it will be safer.
Yeah, I think that'd be a great decision to put the Demolisher there, because that's really your win condition. If you can't fight outside the range of the towers, eventually the Demolisher can just kill all the Moonwells, and that's why we see Moon going for that Demolisher, but he can't stick around for too long, because those 3 towers are so strong. The Raider being focused, no more ensnare, but the Keeper of the Grove goes down out of nowhere, level 4 of the Blade Master, and now I don't think Moon has enough steam to hold this push anymore.
And the altar is already low as well. Demon Hunter being targeted now. There's only one single ensnare that was already used. Demon Hunter trying to get out. He's going to try and staff out of there. He's going to go down before that can happen. And Lin, this is looking like he might be able to win 2-0 here against Moon, who I thought had done pretty well in this game up to this point. A perfectly timed tower rush. Altar now down, the only chance for Moon to remake his hero with an instant revive, but does he really have the gold at this point?
This is just absolutely ridiculous. You can't teach this stuff. Oh my god, GG Lin 2-0 against Moon. That is just not something you can